thine own way, Lord. Remember, metaphysically, Lord really means law. To affirm that I want to be in alignment with the law. I want to cooperate with the law. Today's talk is about spiritual cooperation. And it comes from this book. I'm going to do a series on this book, and the book is called Search for God. And it comes from the Edgar Casey readings. And this book is put together for home study groups, and eventually it will lead to that here. But these are spiritual lessons. And lesson 1 is cooperation. What is cooperation except working together for a common goal, a common end? Working together. And to look within and say, do I really want, would I be willing to surrender to the law of God and to do it joyfully? The only way I could truly do that is if I had great expectations. If I humbled myself enough to expect God's best. To expect, that's what true humility is to expect God's best. Well, to expect it, then I have to know God's best is taking place right now, whether I understand it or not. God's best. This is God's best. Whatever this is God's best. Then we start getting into cooperation. It doesn't mean I don't get to experience sadness. It doesn't mean I don't experience certain emotions, certain sensations. In fact, it's essential that I do. But to observe them and know the truth. And say, this is God's best. I am willing to see the truth. And I am willing to align my life in that truth. You know, it's not my truth. There is just truth. It's very fashionable now. I don't know where this term came from, that people defend their opinions by saying, well, I'm just stating my truth. Well, we used to say, I'm just stating my opinion. Now we say I'm stating my truth. I don't get it. There's truth. There's capital T truth. And in that capital T truth, I can't really state it because it doesn't have words. Capital T truth. I'll get it. Don't worry about it. Am I going to talk about that and get upset? Am I going to get up here and talk about this kind of stuff and get upset over a phone ringing? That would really be something, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be something? I want to cooperate. I'm willing to all is well, all is peaceful, all is whole. Would you please turn off your phone? You know?
Gotta get a lot of hits on YouTube.
To cooperate in the law of love. To cooperate in the law of health. To cooperate in the law of wealth, to cooperate in the in the law of living. And we don't necessarily understand what that means. I don't understand life and I don't understand death. But I know how I feel about it at any given time. And so to seek first the kingdom so that I may cooperate in the law of it. I want to read some things to you from this chapter because I found them quite comforting and quite assuring or reassuring. First, I say, not my will, but thine, O Lord, be done in me and through me. Let me ever be a channel of blessings today, now to those that I contact in every way. Let my going in, my coming out be in accord with that thou would have me do. And as the call comes, here I am, send me, use me. Imagine desiring to be of service all the time. And that service isn't a drag. That service isn't a burden. But it is an opportunity to know who and what I am You know, we all can serve in very different ways. We serve with our passion. We serve with our desire to know God. Yeah, here's the thing. Somebody might say, well, I don't want to know God if it means this. You're going to know God either way. You might as well know it in joy, in peace, and love. Cooperation in the physical is defined as acting or operating jointly with others, concurring with others in action or effort. In the spiritual, it is more. It is losing sight of self and becoming a channel through which blessings may flow to others. Has it occurred to you that the very thing you desire most to do, that some of you say, I can't, but I don't know how to do it, I can't do it, so I'll just give up, may be the way that you are the biggest blessing to another? That what you have a passion for is your opportunity to be a tremendous blessing to all others? See, when I see people doing what they love to do, I am inspired. I am truly inspired. And I think, well, if they can do it, I can do it. I mean, it may sound silly, and it's all about big stars, but this Dolly Parton to me is one who seems to do what she loves to do. And she prospers, and she inspires, and she gives, and gives, and gives. You work for Dolly, you're well taken care of. But she decided that there's a wonderful documentary on her on YouTube. You can watch it. It's in 4 parts. And I think it's called The True Story, Dolly's True Story or something. And listening to, I watched it this week, and I was listening to her, and it's like she said, I wanted to be rich. I didn't want to be hick rich. Hick rich is where you get a lot of money and you spend it fast, rather than learn how to steward it. She wanted to be of service to the world. She said, well, if I could be a star, I might as well be a big star. The thing is, if you're going to do something you love to do, you might as well do it really well. Rather than say, but I don't know how to. Nobody's helping me. Trust me, if I can get help to do what I do in life, and I am surrounded by people who help me, who cooperate with my passion. I have people who do that, and there was a time when I just had a wall all the way around me that no one could help me with my passion. And I said, I can't do it. See, I can't get on a stage. I can't do this. So I stayed in the lighting booth for many years because I was afraid to get on the stage, because I was afraid, I won't be very good. And I didn't want to study to get better. And then I found a passion. And it was called spirituality. And I began to study it. And I began to talk with others about being good, about being well. When I found out that health was a reality, and wealth is a reality, and the goodness of the essence of our being, not just my being, but our being was a reality, I got on board with that, and I started finishing classes. I would sign up for a class, and I would take the whole thing. And then I would sign up for another, and another, and another. Well, that had never happened in my life. I found a passion, and then I found a stage. It doesn't matter to me how big the stage is. What matters to me is the audience interested? Is the people I'm speaking to and with, are they interested? Am I interested in what I'm saying? And so we found a way to cooperate. To say, yes, this is interesting. Let's chat about this. Let's look into this. Let's cooperate with Spirit. So you don't just have to be in the church to cooperate with Spirit. I can go to the theater. If I watch somebody in the grocery store who just loves being behind that counter, they are an inspiration to me. When I see people in retail and I see people in various places, B.J. Ryan's is an inspiration to me. Buckley Ryan and B.J. Lawless. Those 2 men opened up a restaurant in this tiny place next door, and the first time I went in there, they didn't know me, they didn't know where I came from, and they treated me like I was a king. Because they had a home that they welcomed me into. How do you do? I'm Buckley Bryan. How do you do? I'm Shawn Moninger. I'm the church next door. Welcome, come on in. And anytime something wasn't right, they threw it away and gave me something that was. And they have since supported this church, just as we have supported them. And so it has grown into a high level of cooperation, of people who are glad to see each other. They've never come to this church. They say it off, oh, we have to come to your church. And they don't, and that's fine. We have a high level of cooperation. Ran into the mayor last week at B.J. Ryan's. He was so happy to see me because of our concert. And he's still saying he wants to come here. And it's because we did a concert the past 2 years, and he came to last year's and he said, oh, cooperation. Cooperation. I'm learning more and more about it. Whether in the spiritual or physical, action is necessary to put cooperation into operation. Thus, those who would come together for a common cause must have united action in the pursuit and realization of a common end. That's why organizations put together missions. Our mission is to continually discover, demonstrate, and educate that our source of good is God within. That's our common understanding on Sunday morning. Whether you're conscious of that statement when you walk up the steps, we have agreed upon that. Our mission is to continually discover, demonstrate, and educate that our source of good is God within. Because when I am assured that my source of good is God within, I walk from here out into the world as the beacon of light, filled with the idea of possibility. And I get phone calls during the week, so I know many of you leave here with that thought. And sometimes I get phone calls that say, Shawn, I want to believe you, but I don't have a clue. And I say, first let's pray. And I always give thanks. Whenever I pray with anyone in counseling, I always give thanks for all the circumstances that have brought us together today. Whether they're comfortable ones or uncomfortable ones. I give thanks for all those circumstances because we would not be together praying today without those circumstances. And any circumstance that will lead you to want to know God in a higher degree and yourself in a higher degree. Could those circumstances be bad or are they just uncomfortable? We are here working together to know God. Eckhart Tolle says that relationships are not here to make us happy. They are here to awaken us. And so we can give thanks for each individual that has ever been in our life. The ones we like and the ones that not so much. The ones we have judged as mean, as nasty. The ones we have judged as wonderful, as kind, as good. We can be inspired by all of them. Spent many years in that lighting booth at Don't Tell Mom in the city. And I learned from every performer on that stage about what it is to be on stage. I learned what to do, and I learned a lot about what not to do. And I also learned a lot about how to get to the stage. And sometimes I was nice, and sometimes I was nasty. On helping people get to the stage, I was their angel. The best in life is ours. Do you hear that? The best in life is ours. We no longer have to search for rhinestones when God has gemstones. We no longer have to settle for crumbs when we can have the whole cupcake. We no longer have to settle for this because we can't have the best. The best in life is ours. Not at the expense of others, but in harmonious cooperation. In every successful organization, the law is in effect. The heavens declare the hand which formed them was the hand of unity, order, and harmony. All nature follows the same law. Each part of the human body performs its duty without a thought of the other, yet fully depending upon each other. So you understand here, you're not doing it alone. You are absolutely dependent on everyone else, and everyone else is dependent upon you. After 9/11, I noticed in New York City that people were walking around in a fog. Not everybody, but a lot of people. So what I realized is, if I see a red light, I need to stop at the corner. Because somebody might just be following me. And while I know I can make it the whole way through, a car could be zipping down the street. Because the drivers were also in a fog. And so I took it upon myself, this will be my responsibility, to stop at the light, even if I think I could make it through the red light, when I'm just as a pedestrian. Because people may notice, oh, he stopped. You know, I could be of service that way. Sure, I could get somewhere else faster, but I could be of service here, which is more important, to be of service today or to get there 3 seconds sooner. And so to observe where there are opportunities to be of service that take nothing from you, that don't deplete you in any way. And judging others for not being of service depletes you. Criticizing the world for not being of service to you or others that only depletes you. Eric Butterworth talked about traffic jams, and he said, wave them through and watch them smile. Rather than, you cut me off. It's my turn to go. Go ahead. Wave them through and watch them smile. There are so many opportunities for service each and every day that don't deplete our spirit at all, but enhance our spirit. I haven't told this story in a long time. Our friend Gregory Griffith, who we met at Unity Village, he lives in Destin, Florida. We met him at an international conference. And he took us all out to dinner at Outback afterwards. A big group, like 14, 15 of us, took us out to dinner. Well, we were getting there just at closing time. And they said, we're closed. And he said, I've got 14 people here, I think it was 14 people here for lobster and steak. And they said, oh, we're open. However, the waitress, she wasn't happy. She was not at all happy. And I watched Gregory, how he interacted with her, because she was nasty. She was a young individual, I'm guessing high school. And as she walked away after cutting him off, I saw him say to somebody next to him, you know what? She doesn't seem happy to be here tonight. I'm going to give her a big tip anyway. I tithed to him after that, the next time I saw him. Because he taught me such a valuable lesson. Don't punish people for their moods. Remind them that they're a God being. Remind them, not through your words necessarily, but through your actions. Our punishing each other isn't helping. Our trying to get other people to hear us and understand us and see us only affirms I'm not seen. How hard are you working at seeing others? That's how you can be of service. Ask God to show this individual to you as they actually are, instead of how your ego sees them, how your disappointment sees them. Seek the presence of God in the presence of each individual before you. Seek the presence of God in you. When self is lost in the ideal, cooperation is the natural result. It is the natural consequence of self-service, self-sacrifice, self-bewilderment in God. In whatever state we find society, let us meet it upon its own level as we look up. We lift it. That's what Jesus did when he was called to help his friend Lazarus, who had died. He was brought to, he looked upward, it said. He looked heavenward. That doesn't mean he looked at the sky. It meant he looked up to the highest consciousness that he might know the truth. And that's when he made his journey. to his friend. We must put cooperation into action in our thinking. Our adverse thoughts have such a paralyzing effect. They will not only retard our own development, but will also build barriers for those who might seek to aid us. Our adverse thoughts. Years ago, I was lighting a show. I did the tech rehearsal in the afternoon for the young woman. And then I was downstairs relaxing because I didn't have to be upstairs till 6 o'clock to finish setting the lights. 5:30, I get a call downstairs at the club that the father of the performer wants to see me. And I thought, oh, don't these people understand I get a break? Don't they know I need a break? And I said, tell him I'll be up at 6. And they said, he really wants to see you. I said, fine. So I came upstairs ready for something. Well, I wasn't ready for what? I got $50 to say thank you for helping my daughter. And $50 back then really meant a lot to me. And I saw it and I laughed. I could laugh at my foolishness. I could laugh at how silly I was. That I almost missed out on an opportunity of giving him an opportunity to give and me an opportunity to receive. Because you see, in the full law of giving and receiving, everybody gives and everybody receives. It's not that there's one giver and one receiver. Both are the giver and both are the receiver. It's just like if somebody owes you money, you are also in debt. You may not owe a soul, but if you are in the experience of owing, either way, you are in debt. That's why they say give rather than loan. Almost done with this section here. Thoughts are deeds and may become crimes or miracles in their application. And finally, let us replace our negative thoughts with positive ones, thinking not unkindly of anyone, but speaking and thinking kindly of all. Let us practice thinking kind thoughts of those who have hurt us, letting no opportunity pass to do a little act of kindness that will lighten the burden of another. And so, who has hurt you, and what could you say about them? What could you think about them? Well, they're a child of God. There is light in them. People like them. Whether I like them today, they are good because they can't not be good. I'm basing all my thoughts on behavior and appearances if I am holding back even this much love from them. And so you see, in spiritual cooperation, I am willing that all be the light. I am willing that all be healthy. I am willing that all be wealthy. I am willing that all be at peace. I am willing for the good of all. I am willing to cooperate with God. I am willing to cooperate with peace. I am willing to cooperate with joy. I am willing to cooperate with love. Have thine own way, Lord, tells me, how can I serve in this moment? How can I serve today? How can I serve in God? How can I serve in whatever way? And then you listen to God. You listen to the voice of Holy Spirit tell you how you can serve. Because you may hear something different than your mother would have told you. You may hear something different than your government would tell you. You may hear something different than your ego would tell you. You ask Holy Spirit, how can I serve today? And I guarantee you will be happy, joyous, and free. And so it is.